For many years, there was a guy named Kurt who tried to become famous online. He did all sorts of things on his channel, Kurt's World 96. From draw my life videos, gaming, reviewing shoes, to sharing his favorite keyboard shortcuts. He also showed off his dad, Chris, a DJ who divorced Kurt's mom a long time ago. Since his mum was deeply upset after the divorce, Kurt decided to live with her and earn money by babysitting. No matter how many videos he made, Kurt still couldn't attract a loyal audience. His views never reached double digits. This was completely different from Bobby and his channel, Bobby Basecamp. Bobby, a kid Kurt used to babysit, is now a famous influencer. Kurt considered Bobby his friend, but Bobby only tolerated him and pushed him out of his camera's frame. After 10 years of failed live streams, Kurt hit his breaking point and decided to give his channel one last shot. He called it The Lesson, aimed at teaching people how to gain followers online. Kurt started by filling his car with cameras and preparing several water bottles. He said it was step 1 of The Lesson. If you're not documenting yourself, you don't exist. This car would be used by Kurt to work as a driver for a rideshare app called Spree. The first passenger he picked up was a man who refused to wear a seatbelt and was suspicious of the cameras. Kurt simply told him they were for protection. The man also preached white supremacist ideologies, making Kurt worry that such racism could harm his audience, which currently consisted of only Bobby. Thus, Kurt began driving more recklessly. The man complained, but Kurt just encouraged him to drink the free water. It turned out the water was poisoned, and Kurt had even made a video tutorial on how to do it without getting caught. Kurt then played some music and ran a red light as the man slowly died in the back seat, coughing his life away. The only viewer, Bobby, thought it was just an act to gain views, but Kurt was fine with that since it was part of The Lesson. Initially, no one was supposed to realize what he was doing was real because he wanted to execute as many unnoticed kills as possible for maximum attention later. Kurt's next passenger was a grumpy real estate agent who left her sign in the trunk. After some small talk, she grabbed a water bottle on her own and quickly became Kurt's second victim. Kurt moved to the back seat to get a better camera angle of the body and even joked that he might drink the water too. At that moment, Chris called Kurt asking for a ride, but Kurt immediately hung up on him. Kurt then proceeded to erase any evidence. He unlocked the woman's phone using her dead face and gave himself a 5-star rating on the rideshare app. He also replied rudely to a text message so she wouldn't be expected at a meeting. After dumping the body, Kurt picked up his next passenger, a burly man named Mario. Kurt tried playing his own music, but Mario complained about it. He also refused to drink the free water. Kurt then decided to pick up another passenger, ignoring Mario's complaints since he had chosen the pool option. This new passenger was a popular influencer and stand-up comedian named Jessie. She cancelled the ride as soon as she heard Mario making lewd remarks and stepped out of the car. Mario pressured Kurt to chase after her, and Kurt offered her a free ride just to get her into the car. While driving, Kurt overheard that Jessie had a large following and asked her how she achieved it. Jessie simply replied that it was because she was funny. Kurt continued to beg for help, while Mario kept making inappropriate remarks toward Jessie. Jessie recorded everything to post on her social media before leaving the car, exhausted by the two creepy guys harassing her. Kurt became angry for missing the opportunity to befriend someone with real influence. He suddenly changed the route and took Mario to a remote construction site. He drove so fast that Mario started feeling nauseous, and Kurt forced him out of the car to avoid messing up the seats. Mario complained, but still left the car, needing to relieve himself. At that moment, Kurt blasted his music at full volume and accelerated, ramming the car into Mario, sending his body flying and crashing onto the front windshield for a perfectly gruesome camera angle. After disposing of Mario's body and cleaning the car, Kurt secretly stalked Jessie on social media and saw that she had a comedy show that night. He took it as a sign that he and Jessie were two big events happening on the same night. Of course, Kurt wasn't truly famous yet, as his viewership was still stuck in single digits. The only person tipping him was Bobby, who still believed the murders were fake. That was because Bobby himself was a fake content creator, known for pranking the homeless. The one time he ever helped them was just an act for the camera. Jessie, on the other hand, was entirely different, loved for her authenticity and relatability. A little later, Kurt stopped at a gas station to dispose of the realtor's sign and fill up the tank. He argued with Bobby, who told him he was boring and needed to spice up his live stream. After cleaning the blood from the car, Kurt tried following Bobby's advice, driving more recklessly for his next group of passengers. The group consisted of 3 socialites named Richard, Kendra, and London. Initially, Richard and Kendra were terrified by Kurt's driving, but London felt thrilled, as if she were on an adventure. She jumped into the front seat to chat with Kurt. Finally, Kurt deviated from the route and took the group to a junkyard, asking Richard and Kendra to stick their heads out of the sunroof because it was a great spot for social media photos. Richard and Kendra agreed and genuinely enjoyed the moment, but then Kurt suddenly accelerated and closed the sunroof, trapping them inside. At that moment, a few stray dogs from the junkyard jumped up and attacked Richard and Kendra. Kurt grabbed the electric drill he kept in the car to finish off London. Afterward, he drove to a car wash and called Bobby for his opinion, but unfortunately, Bobby hadn't watched this triple murder. In fact, he had stopped watching because Kurt was too boring for him. Kurt angrily demanded to know why Bobby hadn't made him famous as promised, and Bobby told him he should be more like Jessie because she comes across as genuine. Kurt checked Jessie's social media again, but jealousy made him bitterly criticize small things, like how she didn't even record her videos vertically, making Kurt even more resentful as he drove to a house in the suburbs. Jessie posted the video she had recorded in the car to mock Mario and Kurt. After that, she visited her grandmother and took good care of her while recording it to post on social media. Suddenly the doorbell rang, making her nervous because she wasn't expecting anyone. It turned out to be a fellow stand-up comedian, Mike, who came to discuss work matters. Meanwhile, Kurt was on his way to meet Bobby. Bobby told Kurt to leave because they weren't collaborators or friends, saying this directly in front of the camera for his fans to hear during his live stream. When Kurt approached demanding help, Bobby insulted him, causing Bobby's fans to switch over to Kurt's live stream to see the argument from his perspective. Suddenly, Kurt stabbed Bobby with a knife, and for the first time, Kurt's live stream reached double-digit viewers. Bobby tried to defend himself with a gun, but after a struggle, Kurt overpowered and killed him, even though viewers still thought it was staged. Kurt's viewership jumped to triple digits as he live-streamed directly on Bobby's account, even recording himself showering to wash off the blood and rummaging through Bobby's belongings. At that moment, he received a text from his dad asking for a ride to a gig. Initially, Kurt didn't want to help since he planned to attend Jessie's show, but when Chris mentioned meeting a famous DJ, the chat recognized the name, and Kurt seized the opportunity. Kurt picked up Chris, and their father-son relationship was clearly tense, quickly escalating into an argument. Chris was shocked when he saw Bobby's gun in the car and scolded Kurt, only making the argument more heated. The argument only paused when they had to hide the gun because the police were nearby. Finally, when they arrived at the club, they met the famous DJ Uno and asked her to tag Kurt's channel in a post. At first she refused, but then bored of being there, she agreed to promote it if Kurt took her to a taco truck. Eventually, they found the taco truck, and Uno asked Kurt to take photos of her and stand in line for her as part of the deal. The line was long, so Kurt told a few creepy stories to scare customers away. Meanwhile, Uno rummaged through the car and found the gun Kurt had taken from Bobby, using it as a prop for a few selfies. She then drank some water, but it turned out to be Kurt's special drink, and she immediately passed out. When Kurt returned to the car with the food, Uno was just a lifeless body, and he quickly disposed of the water bottle. Unfortunately, this caught the attention of the police, and they came over to ask Kurt to perform a sobriety test. Kurt pretended Uno was his girlfriend and that she had just fallen asleep. Suddenly, Uno woke up, as she hadn't drunk enough to die completely, and seeing the police, she panicked, shot one of them, and ran away. One of the cops chased her, and when Kurt took the chance to escape in his car, he was also pursued. All of this helped boost his livestream viewers, reaching into the tens of thousands. Desperate to lose the police, Kurt started driving recklessly and ended up crashing into a homeless camp, intentionally killing a few people before his car flipped. Meanwhile, Jessie was being driven to her show by Mike, who kept bothering her, saying he had many connections. This guy also did a few opening acts for her, but didn't make anyone in the audience laugh. However, the crowd immediately went wild when Jessie took the stage, and hidden in a corner was Kurt with his gun. After a few usual jokes, Jessie talked about her spree experience with Mario and Kurt, saying that Kurt's hunger for followers made her reflect on herself. Happiness isn't found in high subscriber counts, and no matter how many views you get, you're only judged and hated for the entertainment of others. She ended her performance by smashing her phone on stage, leaving social media behind with a mic drop, shocking everyone. Moved by her speech, Kurt decided to leave without causing a scene. But he discovered that the spree service was temporarily suspended due to his killing spree. Kurt ordered a ride through another app called GoGo and got into a car with a friendly man named David. David joked that he wasn't the crazy driver who had been killing people all night. Kurt took this as an insult and didn't hesitate to kill David in seconds. Back at the bar, Jessie was tired of dealing with Mike, who wouldn't stop filming her even though she had quit social media. She decided to ditch Mike by calling a GoGo. David's car arrived, but the driver was Kurt, and he revealed to Jessie that he was the driver she had mocked on stage. He also told her that he had been at her show, so he knew she couldn't use her phone for help since she had smashed it. Kurt informed her that he was taking her to his house so they could express love instead of hate. But Jessie fought back with a phone charger, strangling him until the car crashed into a trash can. Kurt stopped the car, breathing heavily, and responded by punching Jessie, knocking her out. Then he drove her to his front lawn and dragged her body into the headlights. He asked the audience what he should do with her, and they chose that he should kill her. Kurt prepared to run her down as the viewers spammed the chat. However, when he stopped to adjust a fallen camera, he lost sight of Jessie. He got out of the car to look for her, while the audience mocked his dumb move. The audience was right again. Jessie took the opportunity to get in the car and take control of the wheel. She immediately used the car to run Kurt over, but lost control, causing the car to crash directly into the side of his house. Kurt avoided it and tried to kill Jessie by pressing her face into the airbag. But Jessie pushed him off, and Kurt ran into another room. Jessie reported to the livestream that she needed help, trying to convince the audience that this was real. Chris also arrived and was shocked to see the house in ruins, with Kurt's mother dead on the floor. It was then revealed that she was Kurt's first victim. He had killed his mother off-screen, right before starting the lesson. Suddenly, Kurt appeared and took Bobby's gun from the car. He used the gun to shoot his father several times, quickly killing him. Meanwhile, Jessie tried to escape in the car, but when she couldn't reverse, she decided to drive forward. She slammed the car into Kurt, pinning him against the wall. The viewers on the live stream demanded she check for his pulse. Jessie did so and discovered Kurt was still alive. She was forced to finish him off by hitting him in the head with her phone. A flashback showed that a few minutes earlier, Kurt had felt like a winner. He was overjoyed because 50,000 people were watching his livestream. The audience then requested that Jessie take a selfie with the body, and she agreed. In the following days, Kurt's case became viral news. Jessie became more famous than ever, becoming a multimedia queen. Although Kurt was condemned by the media, he was seen as a hero. This came from the darker corners of the internet, like 4chan and Reddit. These forums were flooded with admiration for Kurt. One user even revealed they were making a movie about him, called Spree. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to watch more videos like this. Thank you for watching!